It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David as he talks with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio today. Tony Merriman with the National Weather Service in Belmont is in studio today. Website is weather.gov for information. That's where I go to get the information I bring to you every day about the weather. And you are the Warning Coordinator Meteorologist.
That is correct.
That is Tony Merriman. So Tony's back. It is Monsoon Awareness Week this week. And the 9th through the 14th?
Right, yeah. So it's the 9th through the 14th, ends on Friday.
And on Friday, and then monsoon season is here. It seems like summer just got here, though.
Right.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We had such a wet May, and winter was super wet, and May was wet, that it feels like it's just, we're just now starting to warm up.
Right, yeah. So this is the first part of monsoon season is the heat. So we're looking at that right now, and some excessive heat warnings already in place for the valley, it looks like, for tomorrow.
Oh, wow. What are they expecting to hit down there?
So the latest forecast is about a 111, 112 right in there.
Wow.
But that'll be the warmest day of the week, will be Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. And then I noticed that Wednesday, we're at Cottonwood's at 101 today, 103 on Wednesday, then back down to 101 Thursday, and then out of the triple digits by Friday and through the weekend because there's some stuff brushing the northern part of the state.
Right, so we have low pressure coming in from the north, and basically it shoves that high pressure farther south, so it'll cool us off a little bit.
That's been our trend for months now. It just seems to be the trend.
Right, yeah. So just getting into westerly flow, just Pacific storms come through and keep us cool and normal for this time of year.
Nice. Now you have been doing I want to jump into this before we get into the Monsoon Awareness Week and the things we need to be paying attention to during monsoon season. You've been doing Skywarn Monsoon Storm Spotter training for several months now.
Yeah, so we started in April, and basically what it is, we train volunteers across the area, northern Arizona, and essentially we need volunteers to help report severe weather to us. Usually we use radar to issue any kind of warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, things like that. And it's mainly an educated guess based off the technology that we do have. But what this spotter training does, it recruits volunteers to report what's actually happening in the field so that we can do a better job at forecasting. So if we think a storm has maybe 1 inch hail or something like that, and we get a call back from a trained storm spotter saying, hey, I'm only getting a 1/2 inch hail, that's great information to have. That way we can update any kind of warnings that we have in place already.
And if you don't, you should follow Weather Service on Twitter. I follow you guys on Twitter, and I've noticed that there's quite a few people that do. And you will see throughout the winter and throughout the spring so far, I'll see different people who send tweets to you guys with pictures or short videos of what's going on outside, and that's got to be really handy.
Yeah. So you don't really have to be a trained weather spotter to report weather to us.
We all have cameras, don't we?
We all have cameras now, so Facebook and Twitter both are really good ways to communicate what you're seeing. If you're not comfortable reporting weather or anything, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if we can get a picture on Twitter or on Facebook or a video or anything like that, that is very helpful for our operations.
This winter, I noticed there was a lot of times where you'd see the ruler. In the snow. And then you could see the snow up there, and it would be dark in the background, but there was that flash, and you could see. And so you got kind of a feel as to just how deep the snow was in various locations around the Flagstaff region. So that was pretty neat as well.
Right, yeah. And so those reports, we document those, and that gets archived also. And so whenever we go back and do research or anything like that, any public report of a snow amount is critical in helping us fill in the gaps.
Yeah, and I think ADOT probably follows that really closely too, to know where the plows need to be and where they don't need to be and all that good stuff as well.
Yeah.
You guys started working more closely with them this winter.
So we've established a good relationship with ADOT, mainly the North Central District up in Flagstaff, and what we do is we provide milepost forecasts for them so that they can deploy snow plows where we are expecting the greatest snow amounts. and they could be more, let's say, efficient with resources, so they're
Sure.
not like going all the way up and down I-40, but rather focused on the high impact areas.
Right. I mean, normally south by like 17, if it's not snowing down by Stoneman Lake Road, then why send them all the way down to Stoneman Lake Road? Say,
Sure.
you know what? No, this storm is cutting off right here. Just have them spin around and come back. So yeah, that's great. And then the summer months, now you guys are all doing the wildfire thing too, where you're working with the fire agencies.
Right, yeah. So Forest Service, they do prescribed burns, and they have to do, based off of the prescription, we do a spot forecast. So if the winds are too high or the humidity is too low, then they can't do a prescribed burns for managing the forest. So we work directly with them, and we get our spot requests every day, and we put that out for them, and we just go from there. And if anything changes, they call us directly, and we can adjust the forecast as
Yeah,
needed.
I see that too, where you get the fire information is usually like you guys will have the. I'm trying to remember what it is now, but I've been using it on a regular basis now. Where it kind of just discusses what's going to be going on over the next like 7 days or something like that. So I'll use that, but at the bottom it says the fire weather, and it kind of talks about stuff I don't understand because I don't know what that stuff is, but
Sure.
it's there. So that's always nice. But you do have, there's a couple more sky-warned monsoon storm spotter training going on this month, the month of June. There is one in Prescott on June 20th at 6 p.m. at the Civil Air Patrol Building at 6540 Crystal Lane. And there's also one on the 21st, 9 a.m. in Camp Verde at the National Park Service headquarters. That's at 527 South Main Street, and Jonathan Sook's going to be doing those.
Right, yeah. So those are our last two of the season. And, typically whenever a group might have an interest in weather or, public safety or anything like that, they can email me directly and we can get Spotter Talk set up, no problem.
Okay, all right. Good deal. All right, Monsoon Awareness Week. Let me ask you this before we get into it, and we'll do this before the break, and we'll come back and talk about the hazards we need to watch out for.
Right.
What I've been seeing over the last couple of weeks in the news, I've spoke with you guys at the Weather Service, and then Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, their meteorology department last week put out a press release as well that said, we think the monsoon's going to be delayed this year because of just the year we've had and what's going on in the Pacific. So can you shed some more light on that?
Sure. So even just looking at statistics and climate, if we have a typically wet winter and even a wet spring, typically what we see in the overall pattern is a more delayed monsoon season. So you might have heard the saying, it has to bake before it rains. And so we were trying to start to bake this week, but those westerly flows off the Pacific, it's just keeping that high pressure suppressed. So usually what happens is eventually late June, early July, we'll start to bake and then finally get into more monsoonal flow, maybe mid-July, if not late July.
Oh, wow. So it could be pushed back till late July.
It could be.
Because we need that high pressure to come way up and kind of sit over the top of the state for about how long does that have to bake us, as you put it? Because it does. I've always said that you have to have the hot in order to get the monsoon to fire up.
Right. So that high pressure usually sticks around for about 2 weeks, and then it's just a natural shift right into North Texas. And whenever we see the center of that high pressure over North Texas, Oklahoma, monsoonal flow just kicks in, and that's when we start seeing thunderstorms develop.
Okay, but right now we're still grabbing stuff that's coming off the Northwest?
Off the Pacific, yeah.
Off the Pacific.
So California, West Coast, things like that. So all of those storm systems off the Pacific coast, it's pushing that high pressure farther south, and we need that high pressure to come north before we can even experience a monsoonal pattern.
We're ahead though, moisture-wise. Are we
Yeah,
not?
absolutely, yeah. So we're above normal.
I was going to say, I looked at, I think you guys put out just the drought maps that we had last year were orange and red. And then there was most recently, the one was sent out a week or so ago, that showed like the southern tip of California. The most southern tip of California was still in some kind of drought. But the rest of the state, Four Corners had a little bit too,
Right.
but it was not nearly as bad as it was last year.
Right, so compared to, compared to 2018, we're definitely in a lot better shape drought-wise than we were a year ago today. But that's been really helpful for having a wet winter and a wet spring to keep us in pretty good shape.
Okay, all right, let's take our first break. National Weather Service Warning Coordinator Meteorologist Tony Merriman in studio today. Website is weather.gov. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Breakthrough Medicine's Dr. Shada Sina offers comprehensive hormone testing and customized hormone therapy with a focus on lifestyle medicine, weight loss, allergy drops, brain and digestive health, seasonal detox, and nutrition. Dr. Sina is a referral physician for Suzanne Summers, specializing in bioidentical hormones for men and women. Breakthrough Medicine is located in Cottonwood's Hot Yoga Plaza. Call for a 15-minute complimentary new patient consultation, 928-649-0269, or visit online at breakthrough-medicine.com.
Northern Arizona Mortgage Corporation is your local choice for personalized home loans, and they've been doing it since 1986. They help home buyers obtain FHA, VA, USDA guaranteed rural housing, and conventional loans. From start to finish, they offer a safe in-person application process with licensed loan originators. Contact Shelley White Collier at northernArizonaMortgage.com or call 634-4251. Visit their office, located at 707 East Mingus, Suite 601, Cottonwood.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Tony Merriman with the National Weather Service in Belmont talking about just monsoon season. Monsoon Awareness Week is this week, the 9th through the 14th, and so there's some hazards we're ready to watch out for. Just before the break, we were talking about the monsoon could be delayed as late as maybe late July, depending on what happens, because during the break we were talking about it's been an unusual year so far. It's been a very unusual year, so we'll just have to see how this plays out. Ryan had a question. If the monsoon arrives late, does that mean it lingers on longer? Because typically we say the end of September is the end of monsoon season, but usually September the monsoon's kind of hit and miss and spits on us every now and again. It's that July, August time that it's really violent, it seems like. But will it extend? So
that's a great question, and it just really depends. If the strength of the high pressure is not that strong, it could end as early as September 30th, but it could also extend into October. Generally speaking, I mean, if you have a later start, it would stand to reason you would have a later end as well. But climatologically, July and August, just like you said, is definitely our most active period. And we might have a few hit or miss things in September, but doesn't mean we can't have a few hit or miss things extending into October as well.
Yeah, it's already been a weird year. All right, let's get into these warnings. The first one, the one I'm using in my news today, is excessive heat.
Right.
Which we talked about. State's got to bake for a little while.
Right, yeah. So excessive heat, that's the number one killer in the United States is heat. And so a lot of times that doesn't get a lot of press or anything like that because before a heat wave, it looks the same as after a heat wave. So definitely want to be aware if, in the hundreds outside, don't want to leave your kids in the car or pets, obviously. And just be aware, stay hydrated, and don't be going on arduous hikes or anything like that. Take a lot of breaks, light colored clothing, and definitely try to protect yourself from the heat because it is the number one deadliest weather hazard in the United States.
Okay, yeah, limit your activity to the morning and the evening. Wait for the sun before the sun comes up and the sun goes down. Right. And then the rest of the time stay inside. And I would also suggest to check, if you've got elderly people in the neighborhood, check on them, see if their swamp coolers are working or their ACs are working and stuff like that. Just kind of lend a hand there. Flash flooding. This is the one. See, excessive heat, I didn't think about excessive heat being the big one, but flash flooding is always the one that I think about because we always lose a couple of people and it's just like, those barriers are there. You shouldn't have gone around them. But
Right.
flash flooding is definitely a thing.
Right. So in the United States, flash flooding is the number 2 deadliest weather hazard. And about 70% of folks who do perish in flash floods are driving. So it's a choice most of the time. Now, if you go around a barricade, that's a choice. That's a poor choice. We always say turn around, don't drown. Sometimes roads are flooded at night and it's impossible to see. So if you're going down a back road and you go into a dry wash, some people have problems there as well. So definitely do not drive into a flooded roadway. Do not drive around barricades. Turn around, don't drown. It's not worth it. It's not worth the risk. Water is extremely heavy. It is 8 pounds for 1 gallon of water. And so if you can imagine however many gallons are flowing down any kind of dry creek bed over the road, only 6 inches of water can knock somebody like you or me over. You know, we're pretty tall guys, so and it doesn't take much to carry a small vehicle off or anything like that. About foot and a half of flowing water can take your car downstream. So just don't drive into a flooded roadway at all.
We should talk about too the fact that, you know, I'm standing down by Oak Creek, and there's a storm. I can see it at the top of the Mogollon Rim. And I'm thinking, oh wow, that's just so far away. Big deal. It is a big deal. You should be thinking about that.
Right. It's a huge deal. And a lot of flash flooding videos that we see, it's not raining where it's flooding because all that water has to flow downhill. So if you do see clouds building up upstream from you, it's in your best interest just to get out of the Oak Creek or any other dry wash or anything like that and wait it out. These are flash floods, so they typically last less than 6 hours. So it's completely worth just being aware, getting out of the danger zone, and just hanging out for a little bit.
Lightning. There's one person every year that's killed by lightning that winds up in my news.
Yeah, so we actually had a recent fatality in Florida where a guy was driving on his motorcycle and got struck by lightning. And so our saying is when thunder roars, go indoors. Lightning is something just, you don't want to mess with it at all. Usually we'll see anywhere from 10 to 20 fatalities per year in the United States due to lightning. So if you're out hiking, you hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning, and we'd recommend to minimize your risk if you can get to your car, as long as your car has a hard roof on it or a sturdy building. That's a great place to take shelter from lightning.
Okay, alrighty. Downbursts. That's something. The micro downbursts.
Right. So you can get microbursts, downbursts, you name it. A lot of the pictures, they'll say it's a rain bomb, type of thing. So you have all this energy in the clouds. It's really cold. You have raindrops, hail, you name it, and then gravity takes over, and it just pulls it down to the surface of the earth. And you can easily get 100-mile-an-hour winds with those kind of downburst winds. So that's something to be aware of as well. Wind damage is the biggest hazard with downburst winds.
And when they come down, boy, when they push out to the sides, that is a lot of force coming out of the sides of those things.
Yeah.
And then the other one, for us, there's dust storms, which is kind of the Phoenix-Tucson area, but even along I-40 you see that east of Flagstaff too. Dust storms, I think you just pull over the side of the road, turn your headlights off, and just wait for it to go by, and then you continue on, right?
Sure. So in working with ADOT, the saying is pull aside, stay alive, and you pull all the way off the road, not on the shoulder, all the way off the road into the ditch if it's safe to go in the ditch. Not only do you want to turn off your car engine and your lights, but get your foot off the brake too, because you don't want your brake lights on as well. So folks who are driving, they're looking for a target, somewhere to go in behind, and if they see your taillights, they might think that that's a lane. And so they're going 75 miles an hour, you're going 0, and that's not a good combination. So get your foot off the brake, as well as turn your car off, turn your lights off, and be well off the side of the road.
All right. And then the last one we see all the time, and we've seen it already this year, and I don't know if we have to go into it too much, but wildfires. We've got the Coldwater Fire and the Maroon Fire. The Maroon Fire is northeast of Flagstaff, Coldwater Fire down by Clintswell, both being used for management purposes. That's a lot of the reason the smoke in the Verde Valley right now. Both are being used for management purposes, but the reason they can is because those were started by lightning and not by humans. So that's going to be a thing too, where we'll have the lightning sparks and stuff like that. We're going to take another break. National Weather Service Warning Coordinator, Meteorologist Tony Merriman in studio today. Weather.gov is the website, weather.gov. Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Start your journey toward better health with Ageless Touches Massage Therapy. Licensed massage therapist Richard Stevens uses the latest and best equipment to relieve scar tissue, electronic smog, and tinnitus. Ageless Touches does everything they can to work your issues down to the bone. Improve your path to better health with Ageless Touches Massage.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. All right, we've learned a lot in just a short period of time from Tony Merriman with the National Weather Service. A reminder again, the Skywarn Monsoon Storm Spotter Training. How long is the course?
So it's usually about 60 minutes in length, but depending on questions, it could be an hour and a half.
Okay, and you're just looking for people to look out their windows, not go out, stand outside,
right,
or anything like that. Just look out your window.
Right. So it's just observe and report. So everyone observes the weather. The hard part's reporting it.
Right. Right. So have you had good success this year with your Skywarn?
Yeah. So we've been getting about 20 to 30 people at every class.
Oh, that's
we get
great.
about 15 new signups, and we're at about 200 new spotters this year. So it's been a great year so far.
Have you gotten into the areas you like? Because I know over the years past we've talked about those really remote areas out on the reservation and stuff are really difficult to get a hold of and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. So unfortunately, this year we weren't able to get out to the Four Corners area just yet, but you know, just last week we were in Alpine, so we were able to get down in the Alpine area.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. So the farther out you can reach, the better. So we get a big picture of what's going on in the state of Arizona, across northern Arizona. Again, there's a class coming up in Prescott on June 20th at 6 p.m. at the Civil Air Patrol building on Crystal Lane, and then there's one on the 21st in Camp Verde. That one's at 9 a.m. at the National Park Service headquarters at 527 South Main Street.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
All right. Hour of your time, and then all of a sudden you'd be a weather pro. Anything else we need to hit on the monsoon season?
Basically, you know, safety is key, and be aware. I know Maricopa County is the fastest growing county in the United States, and so there's a lot of new residences, and we'd like for everybody just to be prepared. Monsoon season is way different from any kind of severe weather season in the Midwest, and flash flooding for northern Arizona is by far the biggest hazard for us in northern Arizona.
We have a minute left. What is the difference between a warning and a watch?
So a warning means it's imminent or occurring, and a watch means the ingredients are coming together for that potential to be there. So a way a new spotter actually came up with a mnemonic device to remember it. So the longer the word, the more dangerous it is. So it's more imminent, you know, in a warning situation. A watch, the ingredients are together. Just you're on notice. You know, next 6 hours you might see something.
Okay. All right, pay attention. All right, so again, the hazards that come along with the monsoon, excessive heat, which we're going to be feeling a little bit of that, but that's going to calm down by the weekend again. Flash flooding is the number 2. Thunder and lightning. When you hear thunder roar, head indoors. Right, flash flooding. Turn around, don't drown.
That's correct.
I'm learning all these things.
Excellent.
I'm remembering all these things.
Great.
And then there's the downbursts. We got to watch out for those. I've actually been in a downburst before and seen the damage after that. It's incredible. Wildfires and dust storms. So those are the 5 things we need to watch out for monsoon season, which runs through the end of September. Tony, thank you so much for coming down and spending time with us. That's today's show. Again, that website is weather.gov. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.